Hi.
Jen Hatfield with the Next. Just curious, what's it been like for you so far this season? Just you and your team so far, getting these big crowds, having games moved, kind of the whole, I don't want to say circus, but what's the environment been like for you?
I mean, it's incredible, right? I mean, we're playing sellouts for our exhibition games, our preseason games. We're moving arenas. It's been something like I never thought I would see, but it's exciting. It's great for women's basketball. It's great for sports. The best part of it was getting off that 11 games in 20 days trip to get a little rest.
Go in the front row to Christine there.
Hi, Coach. Christine Brennan, USA Today. I'm curious if you could assess Caitlin's play. I know you're asked about her all the time, but people hear about the turnovers, but she's also fourth in assists and third in threes, and I think 18th in scoring points per game with this tough defense. If you could give an assessment at the 1 quarter mark of the season.
Yeah, I mean, she's been everything that you would expect for our team. What I wish she had was more practice time. Had some more practice time with her teammates. It would be different. We've been learning on the road. We've been learning game by game. Kelsey Mitchell didn't even practice with us before we started our games. So, I mean, for me, her passing and her IQ is what, separates her. People are going to guard her. The way they're guarding her right now, it's really hard for her to get, a good look. Once she gets going and once she finds some rhythm, I mean, she's a great shooter, great passer, a willing passer, facilitator. She's, getting double teamed all the time, which is opening up for, everyone else. We've just got to be ready for her passes that we're just getting used to and ready to knock those shots down.
There we go, third row on the right.
Hi, Christy. What's been the emphasis in practice leading up to tonight?
Yeah, defense, man. That's what we've been talking about. It's been great to have the opportunity to get to practice, together. Just our defensive schemes and being able to go over those and our rotations. I mean, it just changes everything when you get that practice time.
Go back front row on the right.
Hey, Christy, when it comes to Caitlin, her having long college season leading right into the pro season, how have you been able to help her with that adjustment just in terms of workload?
Yeah, that's been one we're still working on trying to figure out. I mean, we played the top teams in the league, of these 11 games, and she needs to be out on the court to give us a chance to win. And so we've got to figure out a way. I've tried to take her off the ball a little bit just so that would give her, a little bit of where she wasn't fighting from, 90 feet. So that's one way. We've made it very clear when she needs a breather, like she just needs to let me know, and we'll get her in, get her out, get her back in, right back in.
We'll go first row on the left here, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Kelsey Nicole-Nelson with Fox Sports Radio. I know there's rightfully been a lot of talk about Caitlin Clark this far into the season, but how would you describe your team's chemistry both on and off the court this far into the Indiana Fever season?
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time together these last couple of weeks, being on the road, playing every other day. So, like I said, I keep saying it. We've had to learn on the go, on the fly. We've had to try to build that chemistry. I know what everyone is talking about right now. I go back to the Seattle game. Victoria Vivians and Caitlin tied up there for a minute in gameplay, in flow. And the minute that happens, our entire team comes together. And so, I mean, that's what it feels like and that's what it looks like. The incident the other night against Chicago was away from the ball and everyone was moving in the other direction. It was just her down there. So, we're working on that. That takes time, and I like where we are right now.
The second row on your left, Coach.
Hi, I'm a bachelorette with Sports Illustrated. You'd mentioned how important these practices were over the last few days, but how important was it for the team to have just a few days away from games period after the schedule you've had?
Right.
What do you want them to take from, time to reflect?
Yeah, they got mad at me today because I just was telling them how rested they looked. They're like, "Well, Coach, did we look terrible?" No, you just look rested. I mean, the schedule's been unbelievable. These guys have been fighting, and I'm so proud of them for, they come to work every day. Whatever that means. If that means getting up and watching video or doing individual workouts with their coaches, they have just been relentless at doing exactly what we've asked them to do, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
Go back left on the, or back row on the left, Coach.
Obviously, there have been a lot more eyeballs from the WNBA this season in particular. How has it felt just to see the reaction, to know that a lot of the conversation is not necessarily about the game, but a lot of ancillary stuff, and you see sort of projecting their emotions into the game, but not actually talking about the players, the talent, the
Yeah, we've been talking about that since our very first meeting. That's kind of what we talked about. We gave them some earplugs and some blinders, and that was what was most important for us, was to make sure that we didn't let that outside noise affect us. Social media is a different beast today, but we just have to do a really great job of just staying connected, keeping our tight circle.
I think we got Mike Vopel on Zoom. Mike, want to go ahead?
Yeah, Coach, you talk a lot about defense and finally having a little bit of time for practice, but is part of this also just learning the way these players work together defensively? I know that's been something they just haven't had a lot of time to do, and what maybe have you learned in even the last couple practices that you can apply going forward?
Yeah, I think the one thing that stood out for us was just their communicating. The way they were communicating in practice, it was different. We've emphasized it, but it was different these last couple of days. I think they just really enjoyed the fact that we were able to work on certain things, stop the play and talk about it, and be able to practice it full speed. That's the difference. You can't practice full speed at shoot around or every other day when you're playing, but able to just practice things full speed changes everything.
You got third row on your left, Coach.
Coach, Kyle Boone, Baltimore Banner. Kaylin and Aaliyah are going to be such foundational pieces for you in the years to come. What are you kind of seeing about the on-court relationship between them that is already promising, and is there any area where their relationship can really grow?
Yeah, I mean, they're both generational type players, and it's really exciting to watch them grow and get better and form that chemistry together. The expectations for the Indiana Fever this year have just been, we started a rebuild and we had 13 wins last year and 5 the year before I took over. We really laid a really nice foundation last year. And just some of the expectations that our players are dealing with right now, it changes for them. Like we need just to keep laying brick by brick by brick and staying the course. And that's really hard to do with the outside expectations. But Aaliyah and Caitlin have such wonderful futures ahead of them. It's just going to get better as they have more time to play together and practice together.
Anybody else? Anything for Coach? You got time? One more from Coach.
Just what are your impressions of the Mystics as you scout them, and what have you seen from them, and however much you've gotten to watch video, coming in here? Yeah,
I mean, they're fighting. I mean, that's what we told our players. I mean, they're fighting for that first win, but they're in games. I mean, their players are getting better too. I know they're dealing with some injuries, but their young players are getting the time and the experience. Leah Edwards is just, she just gets better every game.
I just finished a live shot with a 10-year-old young lady named Jane, who said, I went last night, I'm a Mystics fan, but she had an Indiana Fever shirt on today. And I said, why? And she says, I just love Caitlin Clark. So have you had any moments to take in what you and the fellow young stars are doing to this game? Has it hit you yet?
I mean, honestly, it's definitely been a whirlwind over the course of the last few months, and even throughout my senior season in college too. I try to take it in the best I can. I mean, I think that's something that never really gets old for myself is, seeing the young girls with your jersey on or with Indiana Fever gear on. For me, like, I was just them, so I understand that feeling and how, coming to one basketball game can, help you, like, achieve your lifelong goals or, I don't know, just be one of the best memories of your childhood. So those are the moments that are definitely, like, some of the coolest for myself, getting to play basketball at the highest level. And, you never take those interactions for granted. And I think even though, we're 2-9, people are still coming and they're still excited. They're still excited about the young talent that we have on our team. And, you see it across the board in the W. Like, we go on the road and the fans are there supporting, whether, we were in New York or whether we were in LA. Like, you can just go across the board, and there's been just really great crowds.
Stay on the front row on the left.
Caitlin, Gerardo Lopez from Cultura Sports in Puerto Rico. First of all, congratulations on the great success, well deserved, and
Thanks.
We applaud you in Puerto Rico.
Thanks.
Decompressing, yesterday, were you able to watch the NBA Finals? And obviously, Indiana Pacers are not in it. Are you rooting for somebody in particular?
To be honest, I had the Women's Softball College World Series on instead. It was a little bit better of a game, but when then I flipped back to them, I was flipping back and forth. There's a girl that pitches for Texas who's a freshman who actually lived a couple streets over from me growing up. So I was rooting for the Texas Longhorns. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done. But I think like that's even just like a great display of women's sports and where it's going. I've always been a fan of women's softball and women's sports across the board. So I was more so watching that. I am watching the finals. Obviously, I wish the Pacers were playing in. They were really close. Obviously, a few injuries bothered them, and the Celtics are obviously really good. So, but I'm just a fan of basketball. I have it on all the time, whether it's WNBA, whether it's NBA, whether it's a college game, but also just women's sports in general. So that.
Caitlin, go first row on your right here.
Hey, Caitlin, Chris Boombaka with USA Today. You mentioned the whirlwind over the last several months. How have you maintained your energy and fought fatigue, both physically and mentally?
Yeah, I think taking care of my body has been like the biggest thing over the course of the last month, whether it's getting proper sleep, eating right, physical therapy, or getting treatment, massage therapy. Like you can just go down the list of things that you have to do to take care of your body as a professional athlete. I think that's been a little bit of adjustment. I'm not used to playing game, practice, like it's just not really what you do in college. So I think it's been a little bit of an adjustment. But also I still feel like I have that young energy in me, so I feel like it hasn't been hard for me to like wake up and want to play basketball. I think the back-to-backs have been the biggest adjustment for myself. Obviously, we were dealt a first back-to-back of the Las Vegas Aces and then the New York Liberty, so that was a tough hand to get, but I think it's just a good moment of a learning opportunity of how to take care of your body, how to mentally prep, how to prep and watch film. Those are tough ones. But yeah, I think it's just a learning period. You're trying to figure out your routines of, navigating professional basketball. And I think that's just been something I'm still trying to navigate and figure out too.
Caitlin, third row on your right on the aisle. Back to
Yeah, Caitlin, on Sunday you exited due to ear pain, and then the other day you were saying that it was fine and it was okay. Did you ever get a reason? Was there ever an explanation for why that ear pain's happening?
Honestly, I don't really know. I don't want to explain it. It'd probably be pretty gross. But no, I feel fine. I can't hear great out of one of my ears, but it'll definitely come back.
Caitlin, I got third row back here on the right. I will stand third row.
Hi, Caitlin. Welcome to Washington, and congrats on all of your success. I was wondering if you think, now that foul was upgraded to a flagrant foul, if you think Kennedy Carter owes you an apology, a public apology of some sort after what happened?
No. Basketball is competitive. I get it. Sometimes your emotions get the best of you. It happened to me multiple times throughout the course of my career. People are competitive. It is what it is. And she's having a tremendous season. She's played great basketball in my eyes, probably in first place for Sixth Player of the Year. She's been great off the bench for them. I think she had, 25 here last night and really helped them win the game. So, no, and that's just not where my focus is. That's not what I think about on a day-to-day basis. I think about my team. I think about ways that I can get better. It's just basketball at the end of the day. There's no grudges. There's nothing like that. It's a sport. It's competitive. It's not going to be nice all the time. That's not what basketball is, and I think people that play that at the highest level understand that.
Okay, we're going to stay back right. We're going to go down the line here.
Jonathan Tannenwald, Philadelphia Inquirer. The Rookie of the Month award, congratulations, and we saw the statistics that came with it. Is that level of production where you thought you'd be by now? How long did you think it would take you to get up to that level where you were?
Yeah, I feel like I've played some good games, and I felt I've played some games where it's like, and I think that's just like the learning curve. Like that's just the adjustment period. I think, I probably haven't shot the ball as well as I would have liked, but I feel like I've gotten some good shots, some good looks, and as a shooter, that's sometimes just what happens. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. I think I've passed the ball really well. I think our chemistry is still coming along in areas of connecting and always finishing those or catching them, or me helping my teammates be in the right place at the right time. And I think I've honestly rebounded the ball pretty well. Like I'm pretty undersized. I like to get it off the glass and push, and I think I've done a good job of that too. So overall, I think I've done some really good things. I think there's always areas to improve. I think I've had some glimpses of good defense. I think there's other areas where my defense can still get better, and there's a lot of things that we do within our system that are just a lot different than what I did in college. So I'm still trying to learn and understand that and kind of break some habits that I had and implement new habits. But overall, I think, I've played good basketball. I've played good floor games. And more shots will continue to go down. And, once the game slows down for me a little bit, I think the turnovers numbers will go down as well.
Stay in the back right with Kareem.
Okay, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. You just kind of talked a lot about the physical. I want to ask a little bit about the mental. You didn't lose many games the last 4 years. How have you stayed in a good mental space? You have a young, growing team where it's not necessarily everything's going to show up in the wins and losses column. So how have you stayed in a good space?
Yeah, it's obviously, an adjustment. You know, if you're the number one pick, you're usually going to a team that probably didn't have the greatest year the year before. And, we're just trying to learn and grow and find ways to be successful. We're the most inexperienced team in this league. And, in this league, experience is really everything, It helps a great amount. And, when we're trying to navigate that, obviously me and AB, we're only in our first and second years. Liz is in her third year. Wally's in her third year. It can just be tough at times. You don't always have the experience, and but I think one of the biggest positives I would say over the course of these first 11 games is the energy about this group. It's the same exact way as when we played our first game. There's a positive attitude every single day that we show up. We truly believe every single game that we're going into, we're going to win. And I think at times that could probably be challenging, losing 9 games this early in the year, but. I think that just shows the excitement about this team, but also an understanding of we're young. We're going to get better game by game. I think if you look at the first game we played and you look at the last game we played, there's just so much growth already in what we've been able to do. And now that we've had a couple of practices, hopefully it only continues to get better and continue to grow. But I don't think that's really been a problem for us, getting too down about, losing games.
Got time for 2 more. Finish up in the back line with Christie there.
Dan Sostek here with Penn Live in Harrisburg. Harrisburg's the hometown of Alyssa Thomas. You got to play her once already. I know you're a guard. She's more of a forward. But just wondering if you grew up watching Alyssa at all and what makes her so special. Obviously, she's coming off such a great month. Is she a player you watched growing up?
Yeah, I think the thing about her is she does absolutely everything on the court that you could do as a basketball player. She just impacts the game in every area, whether it's on the defensive end, whether it's on the offensive end. Great passer, great rebounder. She's just a matchup problem. What do you do? Somebody gets the ball off the defensive glass and pushes in transition. That's somebody that can create for her teammates, can score for herself, is really physical, is strong. She just presents so many problems. One of the best players our league has seen. So, it was definitely an experience getting to play my first WNBA game against her. You get to see firsthand how really, really great she is and how she reads the game of basketball. Her IQ is through the roof. And it's fun to be a part of. It's fun that I'll be able to say I got to play her and in my first WNBA basketball game.
Finish up with Christie in the back right.
Hey.
Christy Winter-Scott, Montgomery Sports Network, tonight Ion. What do you feel the biggest challenge will be tonight facing the Mystics?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good team. You look at their games, and they have been in just about every single game. And obviously, their record doesn't reflect, how good they are and the talent they have and the way they played basketball this season. So I think, understand this is a really good basketball team you're coming in here to play, and I think that just shows how good the W is. It's really hard to win games in this league because there's so much talent, but also you got to execute late games. So, they're not going to shy away from us. We're not going to shy away from them. I expect it to be a really great game, but they're very talented in all 5 positions. So we're definitely going to have to guard, and I think we can push the ball in transition too. So, I think those are the biggest things.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.